all sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they have happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. All sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they have happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. All sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness, may they have happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. As earth and the other elements, together with space, eternally provide sustenance in many ways for the countless sentient beings, so may I become sustenance in every way for sentient beings, to the limits of space, until all have attained nirvana. As the Sugatas of old gave birth to the bodhicitta and progressively established themselves in the training of a bodhisattva, so I too, for the benefit of beings, shall give birth to that bodhicitta and progressively train myself in that discipline. At this moment, my life has become fruitful. I have realized my human life. Today, I'm born into the family of the Buddhas. Now I'm a child of the Buddhas. From now on, I will forthrightly perform the actions befitting my family. I will act so as not to degrade the faultlessness and discipline of my family. Just as with a blind man finding a jewel in a heap of dust, thus somehow bodhicitta has been born in me. This is the supreme Amrita which destroys death, the inexhaustible treasure which removes the world's poverty. It is the supreme medicine which cures the world's sickness, the tree which provides rest for beings weary of wandering on the paths of existence. It is the universal bridge on which all travelers may pass over the lower realms, the rising moon of mind which dispels the torment of the kleshas. It is the great sun which puts an end to the obscurity of ignorance, the pure butter which comes of churning the milk, the holy Dharma. For travelers wandering the paths of existence, seeking happiness from objects of enjoyment, it is supreme bliss near at hand, the great feast which satisfies sentient beings, today witnessed by all the protectors. I have welcomed the sentient beings, and Sugatas, Devas, and Asuras rejoice. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering in the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering in the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
And Sarah, if you'd like to stop there.
Okay.
And Diane, if you'd like to unshare. So we're having a special gathering today celebrating the Dalai Lama's 91st birthday. And I'd like to start with the sutra presentation on loving kindness, this beautiful verse. And so, Sarah, if you'd like to continue.
Discourse on loving kindness. To teach the state of peace, one skilled in the good should be capable and upright, straightforward and easy to speak, gentle and not proud, contented and easily supported, living lightly and with few duties, wise and with senses calm, not arrogant and without greed for supporters, and should not do the least thing that the wise would criticize. One should reflect, may all beings be happy and secure. May all beings be happy at heart. All living beings, whether weak or strong, tall, large, medium, or short, tiny or big, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born, may they all be happy. Let no one deceive another or despise anyone anywhere. Let no one through anger or aversion wish for others to suffer. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her child, her only child, so toward all beings should one cultivate a boundless heart. With loving kindness for the whole world, should one cultivate a boundless heart, above, below, and all around, without obstruction, without hate, and without ill will. Standing or walking, sitting or lying down, whenever one is awake, may one stay with this recollection. This is called a sublime abiding, here and now. One who is virtuous, endowed with vision, not taken by views, and having overcome all greed for sensual pleasures, will not be reborn again.
So that's the Sutra on Loving Kindness. And I thought it was such a perfect beginning because it so beautifully describes the Dalai Lama and the mindset and life that he's led. So I'm wondering how many people got the notice ahead of time that I sent out yesterday and brought a quote or a reading, or if you did bring anything. Oh, great. I see one. Keep your hands up because I can. Oh, wonderful. A couple of folks. And then I wanted to start with the second, and let me see if it'll. Does anyone know how to share a YouTube video? Diane or Sarah, by any chance?
I do not know.
Anybody familiar enough with Zoom?
I know how to share YouTube.
Okay, Annie, I'm going to send you the link of this special.
Okay.
It's just a 2-minute thing, but it's precious.
Okay, make me a co whatever.
Yeah, I will. Let me get back to you. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat room. I'll send it to everybody because you'll probably want to look at it again. But now I'll make you, Annie, a co-host.
Okay, I've got it. Hold on 1 minute.
All right.
Is everyone seeing the video?
Yeah, we've got it.
Excellent. And let me know if you don't hear sound. I think it should be all right.
Thank you.
I consider that person also.
Okay, the sound stopped.
Unfortunately, he's a Buddhist.
It's a question of how you think about your own death. That possibility.
Quite polite. Quite polite.
Well, he doesn't mind too much because there's reincarnation.
And I'm wondering, what is it about your friendship with each other that allows you to have this kind of extraordinary joy?
He's always troubling me. I admire him enormously. Oh, he's going to get proud. I'm just saying, he is there for us as a beacon.
So I really love to see he always teasing me, and also I tease him. Oh, this is so we really become something quite special.
Yes.
So, and also his face, as you see, the head looks like a monk now. You see this picture, special picture. I think at time of my death, I will remember you.
Oh, great. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. That was a great introduction to two people who've seen the worst of humanity able to be totally in joy and laughing and celebrating life. So I thought that was an inspiration to start with. So John, you brought something to share.
Sorry, I had distracted. My mother just called. This is from the Dalai Lama's website. It's a long article. I picked out a couple lines. The title of the article is called "Compassion and the Individual." He says, "One great question underlies our experience, whether we think about it consciously or not. What is the purpose of life? I have considered this question and would like to share my thoughts in the hope that they may be of direct practical benefit to those who read them. I believe that the purpose of life is to be happy. From the moment of birth, every human being wants happiness and does not want suffering. Neither social conditioning nor education nor ideology affect this. From the very core of our being, we simply desire contentment. I don't know whether the universe, with its countless galaxies, stars, and planets, has a deeper meaning or not, but at the very least, it is clear that we humans who live on this earth face the task of making a happy life for ourselves." He says it's possible to divide every kind of happiness and suffering into two main categories, mental and physical. Of the two, it's the mind that exerts the greatest influence on most of us. Unless we are either gravely ill or deprived of basic necessities, our physical condition plays a secondary role, but the mind registers every event. He says, "From my own limited experience, I have found that the greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion. The more we care for the happiness of others, the greater our own sense of well-being becomes. Cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. This helps remove whatever fears or insecurities we may have and gives us the strength to cope with any obstacles we encounter. It is the ultimate source of success in life. Shall I continue, or I don't want to take too much time?
Why don't we rest here with that for a moment and then perhaps come back later. Sister Somo, you also looked for something.
World peace must develop from inner peace. Peace is not just the mere absence of violence. Peace is, I think, the manifestation of human compassion.
And Jim, you came up with.
I'm not going to say anything myself. I'm going to make an invitation. Because the Dalai Lama and Garchen and Chetsang are all united with all of us, I recommend that people watch on Amazon Prime a movie that's just come out. It's the third of a trilogy. It's called Groundswell. And you will recognize the absolute joy that the environmental movement, small as it is and growing bigger all the time, has on the people who are participating in it in the movie all over the world, reclaiming vegetation, erosion control, copious plant growing, and feed and food for everyone. And this is how we can, if we want to do this, we can give our energy towards growing and covering the world with joy. Thank you.
And if I remember correctly, I think in the Tibetan communities, there was a tradition of planting a tree on the Dalai Lama's birthday.
Well, so many trees are being planted and bushes and shrubs now that's a wonderful thing to imagine.
Yep. Who else came with a particular, Annie?
So one thing I have is a quote from the Dalai Lama. Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. I think that's it's a nice, and then a couple excerpts from an article by him on a human approach to world peace. As one brought up in the Mahayana Buddhist tradition, I feel that love and compassion are the moral fabric of world peace. Let me first define what I mean by compassion. When you have pity or compassion for a very poor person, you are showing sympathy because he or she is poor. Your compassion is based on altruistic considerations. On the other hand, love towards your wife, your husband, your children, or a close friend is usually based on attachment. When your attachment changes, your kindness also changes. It may disappear. This is not true love. Real love is not based on attachment, but on altruism. In this case, your compassion will remain as a humane response to suffering as long as beings continue to suffer. This type of compassion is what we must strive to cultivate in ourselves, and we must develop it from a limited amount to the limitless. Undiscriminating, spontaneous, and unlimited compassion for all sentient beings is obviously not the usual love that one has for friends or family, which is alloyed with ignorance, desire, and attachment. The kind of love we should advocate is this wider love that you can have even for someone who has done harm to you, your enemy.
Oh, thank you. And Carol, you're muted. Yep.
I keep this quote from the Dalai Lama next to my mirror in the bathroom, and so I'd like to read it to all of you. I try to look at it every day. May I become at all times, now and forever, a guide for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a bridge for those with rivers to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, a servant to all in need.
All of these quotes are so beautiful. Thank you. Did other folks come with a favorite quote? The other question I thought we might consider this morning is just reflecting on what his life means to you, what being alive at the same time and seeing his example in the world, navigating life just as we are navigating life. How many folks have seen him in person when he's gone from place to place? Yeah. Julia, what was that like for you?
It was quite beautiful. I mean, it was really just it's so beautiful. I guess it was in the early 2000s. When he was in DC, we went to see him in a big venue. And I brought the whole family, brought the kids, they were small. And it was like breathing. It was so delightful, that sense of humor that he captures with Desmond Tutu, that lightness, that joy, that felt like all the heaviness of life just kind of dissolve for a few moments in time, and it was an amazing experience. So and I had read maybe a couple of his books at that point, and but I had no idea what it actually felt like to be in his presence. And I was way up at Ant up here. He's on the stage and you felt like you're right next to him. So very beautiful.
And Carol, what was your experience? You press the wrong button.
I was at the same event that Julia was at, and I was also an ant at the top. It was extraordinary. It was like being bathed in loving light. I don't know how else to describe it. And I was sitting next to a Tibetan couple that had a brand new baby, and it was really wonderful to be able to share that space with them and that child. It was lovely. It was really lovely. Yeah.
And Sister Soma?
He's come to Madison 2-3 times, I think, since I've seen him, and I don't know, I don't have words. It's just open, light, funny, but also giving instruction on how to become like him, how to reveal our own Buddha nature. And that to me is just as exciting as just being in his presence, because he's given us the tools to do what he is, to be as he is.
Michelle?
It was in Montreal in the Congress about well-being and sickness. And the moment that was sacred for me was a moment of silence where there was a child who was about 7 years old who was sick, and the Dalai Lama and the child connected through le front, how do you call this? The
Forehead.
The forehead. They were connected through the forehead, and there was a long silence. The meeting of two living beings, the presence, the unified presence of them, everything stopped. Time was not existing anymore. It was a sacred moment.
Joanne?
I had the opportunity to be with my husband Greg at Middlebury College, and we were in an auditorium because the full college auditorium was already full of people, so we got ushered into a second auditorium. And His Holiness came down a stairway to the gymnasium floor. And as his presence filled that room, I started to cry. And he came down the line where we were standing in the auditorium, and he stood in front of me, and he took my face in his hands, and he took his thumbs, and he wiped my tears away. I've never been touched so lovingly, so kindly. And like others have said, it was just a unforgettable, beautiful moment that is deep inside my heart forever.
What would other folks like to share?
It's amazing man.
Mm.
I think of the Dalai Lama as a beacon. I would even say a beacon in the wilderness in a way, like a lighthouse or just a shining light that is steadfast and, you know, just will always be steadfast.
I find it so interesting, that in our small Sangha, one life, really from essentially what was a different world till we encountered Buddhism, but a different culture, different continent, one life has personally touched so many of us. It's really pretty incredible. Nancy.
I do remember being in this very big theater in New York, thousands and thousands of people. It was really amazing. I even got to go through someone. They got me in through a ticket, and I was way high up and could hardly see him, yet felt him so much. And the feeling in the theaters, a lot of Tibetans, the whole New York Tibetan community felt like it was there. And the love and the reverence in this theater was so palpable. And I felt so bathed in his love. And it was a phenomenal experience. Even though I could barely see him, I could feel him so genuinely. And it was very profound. It was wonderful. Thank you.
So the folks, you may not have had the opportunity to see him, but he's still touched your life in some way. What would you say he means in your life? Just the fact that he exists. Jim.
Well, for me, I've never been in his presence physically, but I can't remember when it was, 2019. There was and I don't even know if it was a video of that experience, but he gave Kali Chakra day or 2 days. It was put on it was like for hours, and there was so many people, and it was just an amazing experience. And that's when I really connected with him beyond any previous readings and pictures. It was just glorious, and he was such an outpouring. And so for me, even as limited as a video can be, there's still that strong sense of spirit outflowing and inflowing. That's my experience.
Eileen.
Hi. I've seen the Dalai Lama a few times, and I can't say I had the first two times, huge events in Chicago, one outside, one inside. It was kind of mind blowing, just the community and just this person coming. He was just an incredible figure. But I don't know that I had this sense of super connection. But the third time I saw him was in Chicago at an event for Nobel Peace laureates. There were about 8 Nobel Peace laureates on the stage, including the Dalai Lama. So it was a very serious kind of event. These incredible beings who've done so much in the world, all talking about, various conflicts and things going on and human rights, etc. But the Dalai Lama was on the stage with all of them wearing his, his maroon like baseball type cap, and he kept fooling around with it. He was like the center of the show. I mean, it was like almost entertainment. It reminds me so much of the video you just showed, to start this up. He was frankly adorable. That's all I can say is how adorable he was. I couldn't help smiling because he just kept screwing around with the hat. He was trying to talk to everyone where everyone was trying to be very serious. And he was like a playful child. It was so endearing and so lack of ego because it was such a serious event and people, were so impressed with the people on stage. Yet he was so unassuming. People were laughing. I mean, I was thinking to myself, man, he would make a great grandfather. I just I just felt so, not that he was so just great spiritual leader, but like he was so approachable. Like I could sit with him and be totally comfortable and accepted. Anyway, I just couldn't stop smiling watching him because he just was so sweet. I don't know how else to describe it. Anyway, so that was my great spiritual experience.
What about other folks? Why is he inspiring? Kathy Mills.
I haven't read a lot of his work. I have seen some videos and read some things, but listening to everyone here reminds me that I think among other aspects, I think of him as such a teacher that and I contrast that in some ways to our lives that he slows down, he lives simply, he is focused, he brings light and love wherever he goes, he laughs, and somebody mentioned he's so approachable and you feel accepted. And I'm mindful that though all of those things, our lives are so different usually from all of those aspects. Our lives are complicated, they're too fast, we're distracted, not focused. Do we bring light and love into every room we step into? Do we have a laughing posture? So I think of him as a sort of a homing device to bring us back to those qualities and those practices which are so powerful. I've experienced how when I have been in the mindset of bringing light and love with me into a room or even into the grocery store, I have completely different experiences with people, and I don't even initiate anything. So I all by saying that I find the Dalai Lama to be just an extraordinary gift of a teacher.
Thank you. What else would folks like to share this morning? Linda?
I think for me, very simply, the Dalai Lama embodies the truth of the Dharma. It's so incredibly helpful and hopeful in practice to just know that he exists. And I think most often of a really brief quote, which is do what you can and do it with kindness. And in parenthesis, I would add joy.
And you're not forced to speak, but is there anything else you'd like to contribute? Any of the other folks? Yeah. Yeah, I see you in Joanne's house. The technical queen is still not unmuted.
There you go. Okay. Oh, you can hear us now?
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Catherine, and I'm Joanne's niece. And you asked how the Dalai Lama has affected us. Yeah.
Yes.
For me, when I think of the Dalai Lama and my experiences of reading about him, and then I saw him speak once, and what I know about him has really the most amazing thing for me to have a human being that's in this role and in this body in our time is to have a role model of really where we all need to get to. So to have the Dalai Lama as somebody that has really achieved the human values and morals of being compassionate and peaceful and present, and that is all that he is really bringing to the world, is such an inspiration, because that's really where we all need to get to. And the way that he is and how many people he's affected is just, it's amazing. For me, I know really the one thing we can really do is we need to start with ourselves all the time. So once we start with ourselves, then we have the capacity to make change in the world. But it's easier said than done, because it requires a lot of courage and compassion, and really compassion for oneself at first before you can start giving it out into the world. So to see how many people he's affected is just, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's such an inspiration. It really is.
For sharing, Catherine. Yeah. And how wonderful to see you. Joanne is always sending love to all her family. So
There's another one. And Greg's listening too. We're having Dharma Sunday on the porch.
She sends it out if she can unmute it.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, hi, everybody. So let's just reflect a minute. I mean, imagine Tibet 91 years ago and a village, totally remote, not near any city whatsoever. And there he is as a little baby. And these strangers, I think he was identified at 2 years old or 3 years old, come and invite him to come to to Lhasa and start. Well, really, I'm sure they didn't tell him at 2 years old, you're now responsible for the whole country, but, would you like to train? And just his family accepting for him, yes. And then him starting the training as a child of all of these years of study. And goodness, he was 18 or 19 when he had to delay his exams to be the diplomat representing Tibet in a meeting with Mao Zedong. He had to travel to China to meet Mao and speak for his country. And imagine saying yes to that as a young person. And then when the conflict got so great, and he knew that the soldiers were about to attack and so many people would be killed, the decision to escape and become a refugee at what was he, 25 at that point. And then living a refugee life. What are the odds that that tiny child would meet our lives, that we would meet him, or that there would be any kind of impact on, how old were we, and continents away, languages away, and then the quality of, all right, I'm responsible for these thousands and thousands of refugees who have no hope and no help. How do I use, we would say today, my platform to help my people, but then having my people become everyone in the world.
Right.
That is just an extraordinary journey of one life, one mind. And here we are speaking of him, so personally, whether we've seen a video or read a book, the power of the bodhicitta mind to then pervade the planet, essentially the planet, so that, some of us have experienced that in person, some of us have read a book, some of us have seen a video. It's still just in the course of the commitment of one life to embody bodhicitta to the best of their ability. Let's just reflect for a moment on that. And as Catherine was saying, it's not who we need to be, it's actually who we also are. Although we let obstacles get in the way of embodying that. Let's just take a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, to just appreciate all the times he said yes. And knowing that we only need to open to this pervasion. There's a tradition in Tibetan Buddhism called Guru Yoga, in which we open our hearts and minds, being totally receptive to the presence of his heart and mind, and allowing the blessings to intertwine, interconnect, really experiencing in this moment the blessings of his presence and resting in that. And I'm going to read a little paragraph in what he says about blessings. Let me begin by explaining what we mean by blessing when we talk about a Lama's blessing or the blessing of the Dharma in the Buddhist context. Blessings must arise from within your own mind. It's not something that comes from outside, even though we talk about a Lama's blessing or the blessing of objects of refuge. When the positive qualities of your mind increase and negativities decrease, that's what blessing means. The Tibetan word for blessing, jinlap, can be broken into two parts. Jin meaning magnificent potential, and lab meaning to transform. So jinlap means transforming into magnificent potential. Therefore, blessing refers to the development of virtuous qualities that you did not previously have, and the improvement of those qualities that you have already developed. It also means decreasing the defilements of the mind that obstruct the generation of wholesome qualities. So, actual blessing is received when the mind's virtuous attributes gain strength and its defective characters weaken or deteriorate. So let's connect again to our own magnificent potential that we receive just by visualizing and opening to his magnificent potential that is actualized. And because we have no words really to describe the feeling of bodhicitta or what it's like to connect in this kind of way with the magnificence of his heart mind, and we use words like beacon, that's why we're always offering lights. So we'll close this morning by the dispelling the darkness prayer that we often do on holidays. Dispelling the darkness of ignorance. So I'm going to get my light that's across the room if you have a candle nearby or a flashlight. Okay, and Sarah, would you like to read this prayer?
Yes, I'm getting my candle. Dispelling the darkness of ignorance. This butter lamp, made from precious jewels, becomes as large as 1 billion universes. In the middle of an endless ocean of melted butter is the wick of the butter lamp, as tall as Mount Meru. We offer this lamp to the Buddhas of the 10 directions, each one clearly manifesting 100 million times, from the pinnacle of samsara to the hell of unceasing torment. The light completely illuminates the darkness of ignorance. May I see the faces of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions.
Om Bezra.
Alake Ahum.
That's the offering of this light.
The butter lamp of the mind of the essence of reality of beings is filled with melted butter of the completely pure nature of realization. On the wick of the jewel-like bodhicitta shrines the fire of the spontaneous realization of the 5 bodies of the victors. This blazing light of the self-arisen wisdom we offer to the lamas, yidams, dakinis, and protectors. May our downfalls be repaired, and may we attain the mundane and supramundane realizations. Om Guru Dewa Dakini Dharmapala Saparawara Alake Pratisha Soha. Imaho. Through the clear illumination of this lamp, wonderful and marvelous, this offering to the lamas, yidams, dakinis, and dharma protectors, and the collection of the deities of the mandalas of all the infinite pure lands in the 10 directions, including the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate kalpa. May all the sentient beings in the 6 realms from now on and in all their lifetimes have visions of all the Buddha's pure lands. May they become one with Buddha Amitabha, the protector of infinite light, achieving the state higher than the sky of the deities of the 3 jewels of the 3 roots. By the power of the truth, please bless us to immediately realize this power. Teyata Pensadriya Awa Bodhanaya Soha.
So we can think of the Dalai Lama on his 91st birthday as this lamp dispelling the darkness of the universe as we offer this prayer. And I'd like to continue with Amitabha prayer. I received word from Kathy this morning that her father has died now, and so he's in the bardo. So let's read through the prayer and just the final verse, the Teata verse, 3 times.
Prayer to be reborn in the blissful pure land of Amitabha. Imaho. In space is wondrous Buddha Amitabha with Chenrezig to his right and Vajrapani to his left. They are surrounded by a retinue of innumerable Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Immediately on transmigrating from here, uninterrupted by other kinds of birth, may I and others take birth in that great pure realm of infinite wondrous bliss and happiness known as Dewa Chen. Thus, may we behold the countenance of Amitabha, limitless illumination. I beseech all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions to bless that this aspiration prayer that I have made be accomplished without hindrance. Teyata Pensadriya Awa Bodhanaya Soha.
Okay, and then Diane, if you want to put up the dedication prayers, and when we get to the Dalai Lama's long life prayer, we'll say that 3 times.
Dorje Chang Talopa Naropa Marpa Milarepa Dharma Lord Gampopa, Pagmadrupa, and Lord Rinkumpa. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessings of all the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, and may all who travel on the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies, confusion, the cause of suffering. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri the warrior realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings by the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order. May the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drinkupa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. For this realm, encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception, Tenzin Gyatso. You who are one with Avalokiteshvara, may you remain steadfast until samsara's end. For this realm, encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception, Tenzin Gyatso. You who are one with Avalokiteshvara, may you remain steadfast until samsara's end. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception, Tenzin Gyatso. You who are one with Avalokiteshvara, may you remain steadfast until samsara's end. Embodiment of the three precious jewels Padmapani, who holds the teachings of the victorious one, sing the all-goodness meaning with the wisdom I. May you, who are spontaneously established activities, live long for hundreds of kalpas. Noble Manjushri, the Lord of Speech, who manifests to hold the teachings of the Triple Gem, who raises the lamp of the sage's teachings, may you, who are the light of the Dharma, live long for hundreds of kalpas. The one known in the Holy Land as Arya Deva, emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Chigdingpa, the heart son of Jigten Sungman. May the life of glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 eons. Vajradakini Nunnery is located on the unceded land of the Wabanaki people in a state that participated in the transatlantic slave trade. We recognize our own contributions to division and strife amongst people and harm to the planet through our words, actions, or indifference. Bodhicitta is ever near at hand, inspiring us to open fully with compassion, listening to cries of suffering and seeing all who are struggling. We turn towards reconciliation with ourselves and with one another, especially those who obstruct us. Knowing that humanity is one entire fabric, all our threads are needed to make life whole, healthy, and contented on Mother Earth. We are grateful for the gift of Sangha and for the bonds of Dharma exploration that unite us. May we generate compassion and peace as we go forth today, moving mindfully, harming none.
And then I'm going to add his favorite dedication prayer, and I'm sending it to you in the chat. For as long as space endures, and for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. So happy birthday. We all have permission to eat cake. Thank you all. This was a lovely celebration of our experience of His Holiness, and really treasuring him and thanking him for touching our hearts. So take care. And next week we'll start the Lamrim, which will go for another year or so. So good to see you all. Good to be here together. And there's a live celebration on his website that starts at 11:30 tonight, if you're up at that hour.
Thanks, Kenmo. Thank everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
Beautiful Sunday. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kimmo.
Thank you, Kim Mo, for helping us bring up all these memories. Thank you so much.
Thank
Look
you.
at how everybody is smiling.